Welcome to the Miss Universe Puerto Rico 2022 finale recap. My name is Dani Walker. If you're brand new here, welcome. If you enjoy pageant related content, then please consider subscribing and hitting that notifications bell. Thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. At the end of today's episode, I'll share some thoughts about our new queen, but aside from that, let's get right into it. The version that I found of the show online did not have an opening number, so I don't have any feedback on that or thoughts about it. I assume there was an opening number, but not in the version that I saw. Also, oh my goodness, Estefania, Miss Universe Puerto Rico 2020. Look at her and her new look. Oh my goodness, I honestly almost did not recognize her. It took me a moment. After they did the show opening, they cut straight to a top 15 and those contestants competed for the swimsuit competition. So I'm gonna share with you the contestants that stood out to me from that. Adjunta stood out to me. I think that she's very beautiful, but I thought that her overall performance was very middle of the road, but I had a feeling that there would be some other ones down the line that I would prefer. So if I were scoring during this competition, I would give her a lower high score, if that makes sense. So she'd be in my high ranking scores, but at the bottom end of those. Agua Diaz, she had a really good walk. That's what I noticed from her. I thought though that the facial expressions got a little bit too fierce sometimes, although she is so beautiful. So I personally wanted her to soften those up a little bit for the swimsuit competition. But I will say I really loved her hair color. Let's just say great job to her colorist and whoever is styling her hair. I loved it. Catano's swimsuit performance for me was great. She would have gotten a solid high score from me if I were judging. Dorado, I loved her, and I also loved Dorado last year. Side note, congrats to her. I really liked her, although sometimes I thought that the facials for swim were a little bit overdone, but still she was advancing for me. Fajardo, I loved her at Miss USA. I still loved her here. I expected her to have a great swimsuit performance and I was not let down. For me, this was easily the strongest swimsuit performance. San Juan, for me, very pretty facially. It's the first thing I noticed. Great performance, great walk, all of that. I just wish that she would have relaxed the left arm a little bit because that was distracting for me. Toa Alta, she had a very fun performance. She immediately caught my attention when she came out and she did some really fun little poses on the runway, even before she did the rest of her walk. So she stood out to me. That was a fun performance to watch. And honestly, that kind of posing in her routine, I feel like could be really well suited for Grand in the future, so maybe she's eligible for that title. Overall though, in recent years, Puerto Rico has sent very strong representatives to Miss Universe, so their show for their national pageant is always fun to watch and it's always very competitive. And I want to just congratulate all of the contestants on their performance and take a moment just to pause and share something from my personal experience because I know how difficult it is to be in that public eye as a Miss USA contestant and to face public scrutiny online. When I was competing, I blocked a lot of social media accounts because I did not want to read about the terrible things that people would say about me online because it was doing nothing to help my confidence and my mental health, and if anything, it was affecting it in a very negative way. And I think that the news of Chesley Christ's passing this past year really brings the attention to the importance of discussing mental health and how we should be taking care of that for ourselves and encouraging one another to just check in on one another and say, if you need help, go out and get that help. And the sponsor of today's episode can really help with that. This message is not just relevant to contestants, but it's relevant to anyone watching this episode right now. If you are feeling stressed, depressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, please reach out for help. BetterHelp is an incredible resource. There are licensed therapists who are trained to listen and to help you. You can talk to them in a private online environment at your convenience. There's a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that might not be available in your area. All you have to do is fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with a therapist in as little as 48 hours. After that, you can schedule your secure video and phone sessions, plus you can exchange unlimited messages and everything you share is completely confidential. You can request a new therapist at any time for no additional charge. You can join 3 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health and have experienced a BetterHelp therapist. As an extra encouragement, you can get 10% off of your first month at betterhelp.com/Dani Walker. You can find more information that is linked in the description below. Moving on to the evening gown competition, they narrowed things down from a top 15 to a top 10. I'm going to share with you my favorite evening gown performances in this episode, but if you want to share about yours, feel free to do so in the comments below. Toa Alta was very, very beautiful, honestly just striking on stage. I think that her walk was a little bit slow, but I really loved though the overall hair, makeup, wardrobe, and styling. She did her best job preparing for this. I loved it. Dorado, when she appeared out of the fog, it was like she was floating on a cloud because of that feather wrap that she was wearing that later revealed her evening gown. So I was a really big fan of that. It was such a moment. If she wasn't already a favorite of mine, she definitely was there. Tell me if you agree in the comments. I loved it. I think that when she was walking down the runway that she had more shoulder movement than I like for an evening gown walk, but she really brought it all together at the end when she did that up look. They have this cool camera angle from above that they were filming the contestants with. It was just a nice little change, and I thought that that pose was wonderful, and honestly, just her in that gown, stunning. Fajardo. I was so happy to see her just living in this moment. I loved her leading up to Miss USA, but when I watched her, because I actually went to the finals of that show, I watched her for prelims and then I watched her for finals, and I just thought that she had visible stress on her face during the competition, and I felt that same way when she was answering her onstage question. But the way that she came out here, the confidence that she had for this evening gown competition was perfect. Also, it seems like she's a big fan of metallics and fringe because she's used that for both of her most recent competitions. So I'm curious to see if that's what she's gonna also be bringing to the Miss Universe competition. And I will say that there are some really big powerhouse countries like South Africa, for example, who tend to take something from a title holder's national pageant and then we see them incorporate that into her gown choices for Miss Universe. So I think it's a pretty good strategy, and I wouldn't be mad if they went for that for Miss Universe. So let's see. But her performance overall, very confident, effortless. I love the walk, I love the posing, I love the facials. She had it all. She knocked it out of the park for me. Cantaño, very pretty. I thought that the beading on the gown though was a little bit thick and heavy, so it was kind of widening her figure versus bringing it in like we see with many of these gowns now that have these really accentuated corseted waists. So that's something to be thinking about when you're exploring the construction of a gown or the embellishments that you're going to put on it. I just say that for other contestants out there that are searching for wardrobe. But regardless, it's all about her performance, and I really liked the performance. So for me, she was a favorite. Aguadia in this white gown was a vision when she walked out. I immediately saw her, and if I were in the room, if I was a judge, I wouldn't be able to take my eyes off of her for this performance. She did an outstanding job. Overall, I loved it, but for me, I felt that Fajardo still edged her out a little bit, so they had my top 2 performances for the evening gown competition. Next, they narrowed things down to a top 5 for their first onstage question. Huge thank you to Soraya, International Miss United Kingdom 2022, for contributing to this episode by translating the answers and questions of the top 5 and the top 3. So if y'all want to say thank you, you can leave your thanks in the comments below for her. I'm sure she would appreciate that. Let's start with our first contestant in the top 5. She is Fajardo, and she was asked, what is your opinion of the influence that social media has on self-esteem of young girls? Solid answer. This is the type of answer, and the way that she delivered it is what I was expecting from her at Miss USA, because she is so intelligent and she is so well equipped. This is what I thought we were going to see. But like I said, I think that the stress may have gotten to her at Miss USA, but it looks like she learned from that experience and she pulled it together. And listen to this answer. She said, For me, social media implements a vision of perfection. However, the reality is that perfection is just being yourself. When you believe in your abilities and in what you can offer, because we all have skills and are all beautiful and we are all unique. We are here to be real, not to be perfect. Wonderful message from our new title holder. Aguadia was asked, do you believe that our country and the world meets the needs of the elderly population? And if so, tell us why. She answered in English. This was quite surprising to me. She said, I believe older people need the attention and they aren't given it. People say that they have the attention, but when you visit the homes where they're supposed to be taken care of, you see the need that they have. And you need to see how they need people to help them. She got cut off in her answer just a little bit. The bell went off and then she wrapped things up, and I think that she did a good job of doing that. The one thing is that she didn't directly answer the question. She didn't say yes or no or state her position in that way, if we're getting very technical, but she did still in her own way answer the question. They were asking, do you believe that the needs are being met? And she essentially is saying no, because if you go and visit where they're staying in their homes, you can see that they need more help. So she, to me, I would give it to her. I would say, okay, I'm fine with that. Toa Alta was asked, as a country, how does the global success of the urban genre born in Puerto Rico impact us? She said, definitely. The artists that represent us worldwide represent the values of Puerto Rico, the culture, the love that we have to give to the rest of the world, and the inclusion. I thought that she had a good answer here. She answered very, very confidently. Cariño was asked, with which Puerto Rican famous figure, current or from the past, do you identify yourself and why? Could be tricky if you're not prepared. She said, I identify with Luisa Capetillo, as she was a woman who fought for the rights of us women. And if she had not done the work that she had done back then, I would not have been able to wear the outfit I wore to the judge's interview, which was a jumpsuit. Great, and she also had a little personal connection there too when she was talking about her wardrobe choices. Dorado was asked, what would you say to people who call women ugly who don't meet the beauty standards established by society? She said, we have learned to live according to the point of view of society. And that is why we have created an image of perfection that we are not going to achieve, because perfection is not obtained. That is why women, and all of us in this room, we have to realize that self-love is the first step. Loving each other, respecting each other, and accepting that we are worthy of love and respect. I love the end of this answer. Loving each other, respecting each other, and accepting that we are worthy of love and respect. When she said that, top 3 for me, top 3. Overall though, well done. I feel like the determining factor here was overall performance. The top 3 were Cariño, Fajardo, and Dorado, but I also feel like Aguadia, with her overall performance, could have been swapped in there, just depending on the judging panel on a different night. So the results could have been different, but for me, she was very close to being in that top 3 as well. Now they were all asked the same question, which was, much is said about empowerment, but how and why is a woman empowered? I like it. Cariño said, women are empowered to be better people every day, to be able, with our knowledge and our love for people, to move forward so that each one can shine with their own light. Because we are all beautiful and we all have the power to shine in the universe. This was a good answer. I felt that the messaging was a little bit vague, and also she did pause in the middle of this and got a little bit nervous, so those things in those final moments can really affect your placement. And they did. Fajardo. Here we go. A woman is empowered by believing in her and telling her that you are there for her. Empowerment is believing in yourself and in what you have to offer, because at the end of the day, you are unique. There is no one like you. There is no one who has your story. And that is super important. Walk firm in what you are, because you are going to rock the universe. She added that little universe phrase in there as well. Obviously, a little wink wink to the overall title, but great answer here, solid. I think that the messaging was also kind of generalized. Anybody could have said this answer and it would sound great. Then we have Dorado, and she said, a woman is empowered so that she can achieve all her goals through discipline and determination. And that is precisely why I founded my foundation called Puente de Esperanza, Hope Bridge, which focuses on providing women who are also victims of domestic violence and who are immigrants so that they can know their rights here in our country. And that is precisely why empowerment is important. I loved this answer. I think that if Fajardo had not given a great onstage answer, that Dorado would have taken that crown easily, but I have to say that overall Fajardo just looked like the winner from the beginning. Everything, her performance. And so it's like when it's that close, it's like, who do you think is going to be very successful at Universe? I think that Fajardo has the advantage at Universe, also considering that she's already competed in the US in a format and an environment that's going to be very similar to what she has experienced at Miss USA already. So it was really tough. It was really tough. The results were, though, Cataño, second runner-up, Dorado, first runner-up, and then Fajardo, the new title holder, representing Puerto Rico for 2022 at Miss Universe. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to all of the contestants. Ladies, it's a huge accomplishment. Please do not stop dreaming. Do not stop at this stage. Continue to make an impact. Use whatever platform that you have at your disposal to make the difference that you wanted to make and that you intended to make as the next title holder, regardless of having that crown or not. That's my piece of advice to all of the contestants here. Now, the thing I want to talk about a little bit at the end, Ashley, our new title holder, very excited for her. Oh my gosh, she's on so many people's faves list already, mine included. I absolutely love her. I think she's so beautiful, so stunning, and that she's just a great competitor. I think that she just needs to continue progressing with this same type of prep that she's had. She looks incredible right now on social media. I've been following a little bit of her posts here and there. I haven't done a deep dive into all of the contestants just yet. We still have time. We still have crowning. So I'm giving things a little bit of time before I bring out one of those episodes. But I will say that I think she has a great chance of being in the semifinals first and foremost. That to me is almost like inevitable for her, but I can really see with her experience Puerto Rico being back in that top 5, in a top 3 potentially. Like I said, though, it is still a little early for Universe. I expect that the pageant will probably be around December again, so I want to see some other countries get crowned as well, and keeping an eye on their preparation. But let me know what you think of our new title holder and of the show overall. How are you feeling about her for Miss Universe this year? Let me know those thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep them kind. And if you want to see some other recent Miss Universe episodes, you can check these ones out. Thank you, though, for joining me today for this one, and I hope to see you real soon.